From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The Gainesville mayoral debate is tonight. I'll have a new candidate profile for you live from the Levin College of Law.
And fire is sweeping the Gothi State Forest for the latest prescribed burn.
And grab your coats as there is a freeze warning in effect for Alachua County. That's our top story tonight. It's February 10th. Good evening, I'm James Torres.
And I'm Connor Ingalls. It's been cold and windy the last couple of days, but winter might reach a low point tonight. UF forecaster Amanda Holly joins us now from the Weather Center. Amanda, just how cold is it going to get?
And temperatures are going to fall into the upper 20s tonight, so bundle up before you head out the door. That freeze warning is the second night in a row that is in effect, and it will be in effect through Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Here it is. Pretty much all of North Florida is included in that freeze warning. But get this, over 7 million people in Florida are either under a freeze warning or a frost advisory tonight. So certainly a cold night for the state. It was a cold day as well, a high of only 55 here on campus, and we started off really cold this morning too. We're going to start off cold once again for Thursday morning. 28 is our actual low in Gainesville, 28 in High Springs, and 26 in Lake City. And check out your hour by hour. It's going to get cold fast, falling into the 40s by 10 p.m. The winds will be light, though. Coming up, I will have some good news. If you don't like the cold, temperatures get better Friday. Back to you.
Yeah, we definitely felt some of those winds today, Amanda. Thank you. Well, plans for a prescribed burn were delayed yesterday due to wet conditions near Dunellen.
But a two-day burn in Gothi State Forest is now underway. WUFT's Jenny Tintner joins us now in the studio with more.
Some endangered species are considered fire dependent. They need a thinned out pine forest to survive. Today, I rode along with the Florida Forest Service as workers began the burn by hand. The Florida Forest Service set out today to burn 8,000 acres in the Gothi State Forest in Levy County. Northbound State Road 121 at US 19 and southbound State Road 121 at County Road 326 will remain closed through tomorrow due to the burn.
There'll be some residual smoke in the surrounding area, but I don't think it's going to be anything that people have to worry about as far as reduced visibility. They'll see probably more of a haze in the air than they will anything else.
Wildland firefighters on the ground used drip torches to start the burn and protect power lines from a larger fire. The torches removed brush near the road before the controlled burn went airborne. This fire is much larger than typical prescribed burns in the area. Today alone, the helicopter is supposed to hit over 4,000 acres with these spherical devices.
They already have chemicals in them, and they'll be injected actually with antifreeze. And when the chemicals mix, they combust. And as the pilot flies over the fire, she'll be spreading out these spherical devices and lighting the ground. It's almost like a fertilizer spreader.
The burn is part of a longleaf restoration program, helping those pine trees thrive to in turn protect gopher tortoises, red-cockaded woodpeckers, and scrub jays, which are all endangered. People have been warned about the road closures and the smoke.
So far, it's not affecting me at all. I have a little breathing problem, but so far I'm doing real good, you know.
The Forest Service says new growth will take off within a few weeks after the fire. With less undergrowth, they hope to see an increase in wildlife and a decrease in wildfires.
All right, Jenny, thank you. One person is dead after a 3-car accident in Ocala this morning. The crash took place at the intersection of Southwest 60th Avenue and 20th Street. 3 others were injured and taken to the hospital, and firefighters say those injuries were not life-threatening. Meanwhile, a gunman kicked in the front door of a Lake City home overnight and fired shots before running off. A teenager doing homework was hit in the neck and is hospitalized but is in stable condition. It happened on Webster Avenue just before 10 o'clock. The Lake City Police Force has a tip line and is asking the public for help developing leads in the case. And after 2 hours, a hostage standoff in Marion County ended with an arrest. Jose Marrero is now charged with aggravated domestic battery, false imprisonment, and resisting an officer without violence. Deputies say Marrero had been holding a woman at knife point at Ocala Park Estates, and crisis negotiators eventually talked him into releasing the victim and giving up.
People living in southern Marion County will soon feel safer knowing there's an ER close by. The county's first freestanding emergency medical facility is officially in the works for the Summerfield area. Ocala Regional Medical Center rests in the heart of the city, and the trip can be a little too long for patients coming from the south. So Ocala Health purchased land in Summerfield to accommodate those traveling from parts of the county without fast access to the main facility. Officials say in cases of emergency, a quick response time is key.
Obviously, time is critical. I mean, that's the whole nature of emergency care, and so we felt like putting a freestanding ED down there would be able to offer those services, that 24-hour physician supervision and the full complement of nursing care and diagnostic imaging and lab work right there.
The $10 million emergency department is scheduled in March. The facility will take about 6 months to complete. The new ER expects to employ 40 people, include 11 patient bays, and serve roughly 15,000 patients annually.
Well, we are halfway through the 60-day legislative session, and some of the more controversial bills are now in trouble. A pair of tie votes in committees this week could kill the Competitive Workforce Act, which would have added LGBT protections statewide. A key Senate committee may refuse to consider campus carry this year, and the chair now says he may or may not take up the open carry bill as amended. Lawmakers are just now getting to the governor's negotiated deal to extend the Seminole Compact, which is complicated by spin-off gambling issues. And budget bills are in the works, with tax cuts somewhere between $250 million and $1 billion. Lawmakers are rushing to fix legal problems with the death penalty system, and they've already agreed on a water bill and on help for people with disabilities.
And this could be the year Florida lawmakers rein in the number of specialty license plate designs.
That's right. The number of specialty tags now tops 120, but a proposal for 12 more could bring a new standard for deciding which ones survive year to year. WUFT's Maggie Lorenz now joins us from the newsroom and had a chance to look at the tag agency today. Maggie, tell us a little bit about the bill.
State lawmakers have been toying with this idea for several years now, setting a standard for sales and retiring some tags that don't have much support anymore. It looks like 4,000 will be the magic number. The Florida Senate could be putting the brakes on the sale of some specialty license plates. The Senate Transportation Committee unanimously backed measures that would increase the required number of pre-orders of tags from 1,000 to 4,000.
Currently, there's over 130 different plates, different specialty plates out there, and they're wanting to make those mandates more restricting so that there aren't so many plates floating around out there.
Tags facing the chopping block include small organizations like agricultural education and sports teams like the Miami Marlins. If you're a fan of NASCAR, you may be out of luck renewing your tag. This specialty license plate only sold 3,200 units last year. The Florida Gators tag is the highest selling in the state, with around 100,000 units. FSU is second with about 69,000 plates. But fans of certain pro teams may be out of luck.
I think they should let us have the ties that we love of our team and our residency, because this is where we live. We're in Florida.
I think that's why the plates are popular, because it's an easy way for people once a year to make a donation to their organization when they go and renew their tag.
While many of the tags at the bottom of the list are for private colleges and universities, they would remain exempt from the minimum sales requirement.
Maggie, thank you for that. Well, this evening has a key forum for the race for the city of Gainesville mayor.
That's right. Ed Brady, Lauren Poe, and Donald Shepard will take part in a debate at UF's Law School. One of the moderators will be WUFT's Marie Edinger. She joins us now live from the site of the debate. Marie, what are we looking out for tonight?
Right, so each of the three candidates is going to try to kind of sell the people of Gainesville on their vision of the city. And actually leading up to the debate, we did speak with each of the candidates. We've already aired interviews with Mayor Ed Brady and Lauren Poe, and tonight we bring you responses from Donald Shepard.
Why do city commissioners and the mayor deserve a pension from the taxpayers?
In my opinion, they don't. We had an ex-GM from the GRU that took and left with $28,000 or $28 million of retirement money. This needs to stop, and stop now.
What are your future plans for Grace Marketplace?
The vision for Grace Marketplace is, what I would like to do is I would like to put storage buildings out there, or little sheds out there, for these people to take and get in out of the cold. I would like to do that the moment I get into mayorship. becoming your mayor. Reason is because people are who vote you into office, and people matter to me. It's the only reason I'm running is for the people.
How will you ensure that Beau Diddley Plaza can be enjoyed by everyone and not just the homeless population once it reopens?
By giving the police the power to take and arrest these people. And when they're arrested, they don't go to jail. They go to an education center.
The full interviews are online at WUFT.org, and that's where you can find live streaming for tonight's debate at 6. I'll be joined by Nathan Crabb from the Gainesville Sun and moderating the debate. You can also listen live on WUFT FM, that's 89.1, or join me here at 5:30, doors open then. And of course, we'll have more coverage tomorrow on WUFT First at 5. Reporting live from the Levin College of Law, Marie Ettinger, WUFT News.
Thank you, Marie. Republican presidential candidate Carly Fiorina has bowed out of the race, and aides to Chris Christie say he may be next. Fiorina made the announcement on her Facebook page. The former CEO of Hewlett-Packard garnered just 4% of the vote in New Hampshire's primary. In her statement, she said she would continue to, quote, travel the country and fight for those Americans who refuse to settle for the way things are and a status quo that no longer works for them.
Well, a meeting last night brought the University of Florida Hilton one step closer to new ownership.
And the prospective buyers are looking to make some major changes. WUFT's Ryan Roberts joins us now.
That's right, guys. When we come back, we'll have a report on the multi-million-dollar upgrades they are looking to make.
Plus, another national chain is opening its doors on University Avenue. Those stories and more coming up.
And if you're like most Floridians who are sick of this cold, I've got 2 points that could make you pretty happy coming up.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. A restaurant chain known for supersizing could be flinging a mini-me version of Gainesville. WUFT's Megan Bell has more on what this could mean.
The city of Gainesville is renewing a proposal to build a new, smaller-scale McDonald's near UF's campus. The old location on Northwest 13th Street is making way for a grocery store.
We have received a proposal to build a new Publix retail facility at that location.
The new McDonald's is proposed to be on this lot, only a few blocks away from Northwest 13th Street. Some Gainesville residents are concerned about the changes since the proposals for the small lot to still get a drive-through. But others like the changes and say it's not all about cars.
Well, I just think it's good to have people live and served near where they go to school or work, and that way it's not spread out, and it makes things more inclusive of everybody, people that want to walk or ride their bike too.
If the plans are approved, the new restaurant would only take 3 to 4 months to complete.
Along with the drive-thru, the plans inside include seating, outdoor seating, and additional parking for McDonald's customers. And according to transportation regulators, in the future, when you pull through a drive-thru in one of Google's driverless cars, you should not be considered the driver. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration believes the computer controlling the vehicle should be legally defined as the driver rather than any human in the car. The agency says it will interpret the driver of Google's self-driving system and not any of the vehicle occupants. The redefinition is significant for Google and other automakers trying to make self-driving cars a reality. And while Google is speeding towards the future, vehicles of the past and present had a major setback this week. 2 new recalls affect more than 1.3 million cars and SUVs. The first recall involves some 840,000 vehicles, mostly Mercedes-Benz, to replace faulty airbags. It affects Mercedes-Benz cars and SUVs from 2005 to 2014, and Sprinter and Freightliner vans from 2007 through 2014. The company says the move is precautionary and no injuries have been reported. Also being recalled, more than 473,000 GM trucks sold in the U.S. and Canada. General Motors says brake pedals can come loose and fail to work properly. The recall covers certain 2015 and 2016 Chevy Silverado HD, GMC Sierra HD, and Chevy Tahoe police vehicles. Back in Gainesville, upgrades are on the agenda for the University of Florida Hilton Hotel and Conference Center. WUFT's Alexandra Go has more on the decision that has helped enabling that change.
The UF Hilton Hotel and Conference Center will be receiving a multi-million-dollar makeover from the hotel's new owner, Arden Group. All that remained before improvements could begin was an approval from the university. UF leases the land under the hotel from the state of Florida, then subleases it to the hotel's owner.
What happened yesterday is the University of Florida Board of Trustees voted to transfer that sublease to the new owner of the Hilton Hotel.
The decision was made unanimously by the university's Board of Trustees. UF officials are excited to see what changes Arden has in store for the hotel and believe it will benefit the school.
The Arden Group will need to put substantial renovations into the hotel, which we see as a good thing, because the University of Florida uses the Hilton Hotel frequently, both to recruit our faculty and staff, but also to host events.
The full details of the renovation have yet to be released. However, the UF Hilton's general manager helps put the proposed renovations into perspective.
Some hotels sell for $10 million. The size of our renovation will be at least $12 million.
Some changes we can expect? Trustee mentioned more restrooms, an expansion of the meeting rooms, and overall improvements to the guest rooms, the bar, and the restaurant.
The team's very, very excited. It's going to be a great renovation. Probably take place over about 18 months, but it's really going to be fantastic.
Arden's purchase of the hotel from Xenia will become official tonight at midnight, signaling new things to come.
Despite the many changes, the Hilton brand will remain the same. And according to Trustee, we should be able to see improvement activity within the next 30 days. Alexandra Go, WUFT News.
And Chipotle is blaming sick employees for the 2 norovirus outbreaks the restaurant chain experienced last year. Company officials also revealed that tomatoes were the likely culprit behind the salmonella outbreak. That's one reason it no longer dices tomatoes in its restaurants. Outbreaks of norovirus, salmonella, and E. coli resulted in hundreds of customers getting sick. Chipotle closed all of its restaurants nationwide for a few hours on Monday to hold a company-wide meeting to discuss safety. So guys, when they were closed down, they actually had a little text promotion where if you sent in a text, you got a free burrito. Were you guys able to get your hands on one?
Oh, very aware. I actually got my text yesterday at like 10:30 a.m. for my free burrito. Instantly went to Chipotle. Good news too, guac is included, so live it up.
Really?
People.
Yeah, I sent the text and just didn't go through with the whole link. So that's why you don't quit. That's why you don't quit. Ryan, thank you.
And with cold temperatures today and tonight, it wouldn't be a bad idea to sit inside, maybe have a hot cocoa.
Yeah, if you were outside for even just a second, you felt that wind chill really, really strong, but not to sweat. Amanda's telling us to anticipate a little bit of a warm-up coming up soon. Amanda.
That's right. We do have a warm-up, albeit brief, on the way, but first we've got to get through a cold night. In fact, freeze warnings are in effect for the second night in a row tonight, and that is through 9 a.m. tomorrow, and that includes all of North Florida. And I said earlier, over 7 million people in Florida tonight are either under a freeze warning or a frost advisory. So certainly a cold night for the whole entire state of Florida. And it was a chilly day as well. 55 for a high on the campus. We started off cold, a little bit more mild here on campus, but 29 at the airport it was. And it was just a clear skies out there, and gusty winds have continued. But I have good news. They will be dying down, and that's what's going to allow our temperatures to really drop tonight into the upper 20s. That's why we have that freeze warning in effect. But here it is, that brief warm up. It is on the way, and it'll come Friday. Temperatures will rise slightly above average for this time of year. And then, well, we do it all over again. We've got a strong front on the way, bringing us a few showers possible for Monday night into Tuesday, and of course, dropping those temperatures once again. So for the cold tonight, though, temperatures quickly falling into the 30s by midnight. And that's because it's a radiational freeze, and we've got clear skies out there, so the heat that was absorbed this afternoon is really going to allow it to be escaping into the atmosphere very quickly. Now we will have slight winds by morning, and that'll allow us to have a little bit of a wind chill out there as well, but it won't feel as cold as it did this morning. So here's our actual low temperatures for tonight. 28 in Gainesville, 26 up in Lake City. The colder temperatures will stay off to the north and the east of Gainesville, and that's because we've got an onshore flow from the Gulf of Mexico, and that'll keep the nature coast a little bit warmer than we are here in Alachua County. Now for Thursday afternoon, temperatures are going to be noticeably warmer. That's because of two things. Temperatures are actually going to rise into the mid-60s across North Florida, and we're going to have a lot lighter winds, so we're not going to have a wind chill factor on our Thursday afternoon. Something to look forward to there. Friday gets even better. Here are the highs. 72. We haven't seen the 70s in quite a while, so I'm certainly looking forward to this. 73 in Ocala, 69 down in Crystal River, so partly cloudy out there and above average temperatures. I've also got some more good news if you like the warmer weather. Here's this trough. It's been stuck in place for quite a while now, and we've got another front on the way starting Monday night into Tuesday. I talked about that. That was headline number 2. That's going to bring us one more shower shot of cold air for Tuesday of next week. And then this trough that has been in place is going to be pushed off to the east because this ridge here that you see is building in, and it's going to be, that is warmer weather for us here in Florida. So certainly something to look forward to, but we do have a cold night to get through first. That is a freeze warning in effect tonight and some possible patchy frost for your Thursday morning. Back to you.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Well, for the second time this season, the Florida Gators met up with Coach Mike White's alma mater, the University of Mississippi.
That's right. The Gators hosted a 90s-themed night to welcome the Rebels. KAYLEE GLYDER joins us now with sports.
That's right, and I'm sure last night brought back several boy band memories for the both of you, but if you weren't able to stay up and watch the Space Jam throwback, I'll let you know what went down. Stay tuned. Sports is next. Like they were yesterday. Well, technically they were, all thanks to the Florida men's basketball team hosting a 90s theme night against the Ole Miss Rebels. Welcome back to sports. I'm KAYLEE GLYDER. It was a full house of rowdy Rugrats as they welcomed the Gators back after the team's biggest loss of the season. It wasn't a perfect defensive effort, but Florida played with more energy and fought through screens better than they have in the past week. In the second half, shooting over 50% from the floor, Florida told Ole Miss, "Can't touch this." Devin Robinson came off reserve and had the O-Dome jumping around by scoring a career-high 15 points. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 drawn charges, including the one that disqualified Stephen Moody, who scored 17 of 19 points in the second half. Coach Mike White said, "I want it that way," when talking about Robinson's tremendous performance last night.
Huge. Devin Robinson was terrific. I thought it was the best game of his Gator career. He was really good. Best day that Devin's had while I've coached him, for sure. Gets 15 points on 7 shots. Was really efficient, made good decisions, and drew 3 big charges.
The win was UF's 6th in the last 8 games and left the Gators alone in 4th place in the SEC standings. Florida has now matched its win total from last season when the Gators finished 16-17 in their final season under Billy Donovan. Next up for the Gators, the Crimson Tide on Saturday. The Gators are now a half game behind idle South Carolina and Texas A&M, who both play tonight. South Carolina welcomed the LSU Tigers, who currently sit atop the SEC. And the 15th-ranked Texas A&M will travel to Alabama and break their 2-game skid. Both games are at 7. And the late game at 9, Vanderbilt is split 5-5 in the SEC and welcomes the Missouri Tigers, who are riding an 8-game losing streak. The Florida women's basketball team is now in the spotlight for the Orange and Blue. The 16th-ranked Gators are on the road to face number 2 South Carolina. The Gamecocks are still undefeated in the SEC. The team fell to the University of Connecticut, their first home game loss since 2013. In the biggest show of women's basketball, 2 undefeated teams met in front of a sold-out arena. South Carolina suffered a slow offensive start that allowed UConn to build an early double-digit lead. South Carolina went on a run but couldn't close the gap, falling 66-54. South Carolina will wrap up its homestand Thursday against Florida. Speaking of the Florida Gators, the team had a big win over Texas A&M last week, and for the first time in nearly a decade, the team did not play on Super Bowl Sunday. This allowed the team some extra time to prepare for the top conference opponent. Head coach Amanda Butler says the team has found its identity and has full confidence moving forward.
Our team is competing with a really good idea of who they are. And I think from the outside, there's still this idea that when we beat someone, somehow it's an upset. And I think our team doesn't really look at those games as upsets. And that's no disrespect to our opponents. I think they just have a good sense of who they are and how good they are.
Game time is 7 p.m. in Columbia. Earlier today, UF's Director of Athletics spoke with ESPN WRUF about potential upgrades of several facilities at the University of Florida. Jeremy Foley also spoke about the changes he foresees with collegiate athletes having a less demanding schedule. And he commented on the University of Michigan's football program wanting to come down to the IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida for a spring break practice.
A huge national initiative.
is, time demands on student athletes. If you've gone to the NCAA convention this past winter, we had a number of students who stood up and talked about they needed more time. And now here's an institution that's taking its entire team during their spring break to go practice. Certainly flies in the face of that.
All right, before we go, let's just get one last check on the weather.
Here's Amanda.
It's going to be a cold start to Thursday. We've got that freeze warning in effect through 9 a.m. Here are your actual lows: 28 in Gainesville, 30 down in Ocala, and 26 up in Lake City. So certainly bundle up when you head out the door. We could see some patchy frost out there as well. Friday, though, temperatures rise back to above average in the low 70s. And then, of course, for the weekend, those temperatures get a little bit colder with a dry, weak front moving through on Saturday. A stronger front moves through Monday night into Tuesday, and I think we'll get one more shot of colder air middle of next week, and then some warmer temperatures will prevail. Back to you.
All right, Amanda, thank you. Well, here on WUFT TV, BBC World News is up next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7 o'clock.
But don't forget the Gainesville mayoral debate starts at 6 o'clock. You're looking now at the scene over at the Levin College of Law where the debate will take place. You can listen to it all. Have a good night.